I'm going to be going over guild contribution, guild reputation. Basically, if you're playing Throne and Liberty, what you need to know for contributing to the guild and maximizing your gameplay experience, at least as far as guilds go. So first things first, we're going to come down to the guild page. So the first thing you want to pay attention to is down here in the guild contract. So you have three types of guild contracts. You have these, which are the dungeon contracts. You've got these over here, which are the zone event contracts. And then you have this over here, which is the kill contract. So right now, as you can see, we have Wildkin and Demons. For the kill contract, for the zone, we have Desert Caravan, and I'm going to change this one, because I don't want Sanctum of Desire. I want Saradoma. And now only the guild advisors and guild member, guild owner, I mean, can change these. But these are going to, so right now here with Silas's Abyss, 5th and 6th, that's going to give you Wildkin. So you can actually knock out 2 of these contracts at the same time. And sometimes you'll be able to knock out multiple. But these guild contracts are the #1 way that you can contribute to your guild activity rating or guild reputation score. Another way is the guild bosses. So at every guild hall, there's a portal inside of the guild hall. And every single world boss exists in that portal, but it's a private instance for only the guild people. You're guaranteed a drop. Doing those guild raids will also increase your guild reputation. Now, what I'm talking about when I say guild reputation, if you come up to the members, right? This right here. This is the guild reputation. So, as you can see right there, it only holds the reputation for the last 7 days. So, you only have the last week. But that's what that is right there. And that number comes from basically just how active you are in-game doing stuff. So if you see right here, all of these events these are the zone events. You will get guild contribution by participating, but if you notice this one right here, Desert Caravan, you'll get more points for participating in that one. So I'm going to go ahead and go over there and start doing that while I'm talking. So zone events like this are the kinds of things that are going to give you that reputation, just like doing the guild raids. But there's also open world bosses. And there's open world zone events like this one. And doing anything in open world will give you activity points. Activity points you can get from doing pretty much anything, even co-op dungeons, contracts, literally any content that you're doing in the game. I think the arenas might even give you a little bit, but basically all you got to do is just be active. Play the game, don't be AFKing constantly. And you'll be getting those activity points. Now, dungeons are not the best way. Like, co-op dungeons are not the best way to gain those activity points. It's a little bit harder to farm those. The best way is zone events like this one, especially if you can knock out the guild contracts while you do it. So these are actually also Wildkin. These armadillos and sand turtles and that kind of thing. The Wildkin are basically just any beast. So these events or events like them are the best way, plus the guild raids, things like that. So if you're trying to just maximize your reputation, this is the kind of stuff that you need to do. But like I said, really any in-game activity is going to provide you with some activity points. It's just a matter of what's the easiest to farm as far as activity points. So these zone events and the guild raids are the easiest to farm, even though the guild raids are limited. So depending on what guild level you are, depends on how many boss kills you can do per week. There's a weekly reset, and you only get a certain number of boss kills in that portal. And you can get locked out of that boss kill if you're doing open world bosses before you do the guild raids. It'll lock you out. But that's kind of just the general overview. So if you notice underneath the mini-map, you can keep track. So right here in this, it shows the Desert Caravan, but you can close that down. And right here is your content notifications, and you can scroll through that. So here's the guild ones, right here, the green. Those are the guild contracts. Now my contracts are these yellow ones here. As you can see, I've got a few of those that I have to complete still, but they're not in, during the zone event, it's going to give me a little bit more activity just because it's completing that guild contract. And while the regular contracts do give you activity points, the guild ones are going to give you a little bit more. Plus, they'll give you more guild XP, so you can actually get levels and stuff instead of just reputation. But you can cycle through these. So I'm on console, not PC. So I use my LB and RB to cycle through that stuff. There is a certain level, rather, of key mapping, so button mapping that you can do. There are some things that it will not give you an option to change. But for the most part, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just go in, pick the things that you want for your keybinds, and it'll set those. If you get updates, sometimes it'll reset them, or if you delete your settings or your cache, sometimes that will also. But for the most part, it's always going to be, even on PC, the navigation is still right over here, I think, but I'm pretty sure you can move around your windows. On Xbox, you cannot, same with PlayStation. But that's where you're going to keep track of all of your contracts, including the guild contracts. So as you can see right now, we got 12 minutes left to Desert Caravan. Going to open that back up. Now, I'm not trying to necessarily win right now. I'm just trying to get a good enough score so that I can complete this guild contract. But the higher score you get, so if you place in the top 3, it'll give you more points. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm forgetting. Your kill count also contributes towards your activity. So if you're out PvPing and getting kills and assists and things like that, that will also benefit the guild. Trying to think if there is anything else as far as contracts or activity that I need to go over. That might be it. You can always do those kind of contracts on your own. The resistance contracts pair really well with the guild contracts, because the resistance contracts are these scrolls that you'll get that'll give you higher level, higher tier contracts. They're usually going to give you contracts for dungeons. As far as I know, that's the only option. It only does dungeon contracts. So if you get those, you can match those with the guild contracts for the dungeons, and then you can knock out your resistance contract plus the guild contract at the same time. And like I said before, you can get that kill contract knocked out along with the dungeon contracts and the resistance contracts. So that's 3 birds with 1 stone. That's the most effective way to get those activity points. So make sure that you guys are doing that if you're trying to be in a maximized high-level guild, especially if you're trying to be on the leaderboards. Those are kind of things that you're going to need to make sure that you're on top of. Oh, there is one other thing. So when you come into the guild tab, right here to the info, you'll see that there's a donation count. You get 1 donation every hour, and then you can donate them into these things right here. So as you notice, I have this one marked. That's what we need the most of right now. The reason for that is when you come down, these are all the skills you can use with those resources. This one in particular is super useful, the Guild Summon Gate. But those take certain guild resources, and if you don't have those guild resources, you can't use those guild abilities. And those guild abilities come in really handy. There's some that'll give you increased usefulness for your contract tokens, which will give you better drops and things like that inside of the inside of dungeons, open world dungeons and things. There's also boss damage, mitigation, boss damage. You deal more damage or you take less damage from bosses. Range, mana regen, all sorts of stuff. So it's really important that you try to make sure that you're donating the stuff that we need the most. I think that's everything. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave it up in the comments section or ask me directly in game if you play. I think that's everything. So have a good one, guys. I hope this video helped, and I will see you next time.